maybe they just moving to Switzerland. Well, if you can find a job there, yeah, no, go for it. No, but the cost of living is different too. So like in some of these Eastern European countries, you might not need very much to live. That's the thing. Northport 5-2 Twin Town. Okay, work there, live in Europe, Eastern Europe. No, but that's what some people do. I mean, seriously, Wesley. So some people like they'll retire in Eastern Europe, and they'll just be fine. Like just have more money than they ever need. Like you work in Western Europe, and then you retire in Eastern Europe, and you live like a king. Let's see, 5-2. Two, 4. Well, that looks good. 1-3. Great. Wesley says that I guess that's why my aunt retired to Spain. Also, the weather is nice in Spain. That's also good. Let's check Spain. Hold on. Spain is $6.08. The minimum wage in Spain. So I guess if you work in Belgium and then retire in Spain, your money goes twice as far. I need to label these. So that was glue. This is frozen. 1-3 frozen. Is that right? 1-3 frozen. And then 1-2 Oasis. Fox says, I found UK to be pretty comparable cost of living to US. And your minimum wage at 18 is 781 USD, rising 21 and 25. $7.81. Hold on, UK. It says on Wikipedia that your hourly rate in the UK minimum wage is $11.13. But that's probably the adult rate, not the 18-year-old rate. The full adult rate is $11 something, according to Wikipedia. Yeah, you have different minimum wage depending on age. I think that's true in New Zealand as well. Yeah, so 18 and then 21 and 25. I'm guessing by 25 it'll be $11.13 US. But that's the thing, like in the US, their living wage is about $11. And if you say the UK cost of living is similar, then the UK has a living wage by the time you're 25 at least. Whereas the US minimum wage is like $7. Which is $3 short of a living wage. Although the US, different parts of the country have different living wages. In some places it costs significantly more to get housing. This is 1-5 Aurora up here. So, back to mercantilism and the trade deficit. In theory, trade deficits should fix themselves over time. because the money, like if one country keeps accumulating more and more money, then they should experience inflation, and that should cause the prices to even out over time. I think the problem for the United States is that because they're the de facto world currency, and because the Chinese keep propping up their currency by buying their debt, that their trade deficit has not resulted in their currency devaluing, and therefore it's not fixing itself because of other policies. Fox says supposedly the living wage is 2 pence higher than minimum at 25 unless you live in London. Well, 2 pence is that a huge problem if it's 2 pence higher? I mean, it's not doing that bad. I mean, not to trivialize the plight of the working poor, but if you're only 2 pence short, then you're doing better than the Americans at least. And you might be doing better than a lot of other countries. I guess the EVE Online analogy is like, if there's higher demand for minerals, how do we analogy with a video game? What does it mean when you prop up a currency? I guess you like artificially buy up the loot from the mission running to artificially make the mission running more profitable. There's one problem in games compared to real life is usually it's only one currency. That's true. Yeah, Wesley, that's true. I was just thinking about that. So instead of dealing with the actual currencies, we have to deal with the products of the labor, which is either the space rocks, and if there's more, they're usually yeah, that's right, Wesley. Either the space rocks or the mission loot. I mean, it's complicated when there's more than one currency, really. But it also allows economies to balance each other through the supply and demand of currencies, which is actually one problem that the euro has created, is that because there's no floating currencies anymore. I mean, when you have ridiculous situations like the minimum wage in Switzerland being $21 and the minimum wage in Macedonia being $1.39, it's quite clear that the cost of living is very different in those countries. But they still use the same currency, and you end up with a situation where, as you say, if you retire in Spain, you can live quite comfortably and also enjoy the nice weather. Whereas if the currencies were independent, then the supply and demand of the currencies would cause them to like, it would allow them to equalize the purchasing power somewhat. I wonder if... I mean, the United States had a similar crisis before with Japan, and they made a deal to devalue the Japanese yen to save the American dollar. Is that right? Or did they increase the value of the Japanese yen? I forgot. Yen devaluation effects? I probably shouldn't go into detail here, I was building trains in Minecraft. According to the internet, the Chinese dollar has appreciated quite consistently against the US dollar for over a decade. Hold on, when did the depreciation happen? 2015? Consistent with market fundamentals. Impact on global trade markets, impact on India. Alright, that's not really important. Twenty 2015 was when Obama was still in office and the American economy was coming out of the Great Recession, right? 2008. Yeah, like the American economy was picking up again. And so China devalued their currency a little bit to reflect the strength of the American economy at the time. Anyway, China's gonna move towards a floating currency pretty soon, so a freely traded currency. Up until now, I believe the Chinese currency has a fixed exchange rate with the US dollar, which could arguably have been part of the cause of the problem because you couldn't use natural supply and demand to work things out when things are out of balance. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8. Ah. 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2. 5. Three, 4, 5. What other news was there? It was within the last week, right? Tesla is opening a factory in China. So back to electric cars. Oh, China announced that they are changing their rules for foreign investment. So before, if you wanted to invest money or like have a business in China, you had to partner with a Chinese company. But now you don't have to, both for obvious reasons. I forgot what I said. What's for obvious reasons? Yes, before you had to partner with a Chinese company, which made Tesla going to China, which made a lot of companies hesitant to start a factory in China because they had to share the technology with a Chinese company. But now the Chinese have removed that requirement, and immediately upon announcing that, Tesla also announced that they are going to build a factory in China. So now if you open a factory in China, you don't have to share your trade secrets with a Chinese company. And I believe Germany is also moving some chemical refineries to China, or like building chemical refineries in China. And something self-driving cars research facility. They announced a bunch of stuff recently. The city where all electronics get made didn't have this restriction though, right? I don't remember, Wesley. Maybe you know this better than I do, but there might have been exemptions to the rule. But whatever it is, that's gone now. So the restriction is completely gone now. Shenzhen. Well, Shenzhen was a special economic zone, so they had different rules from the rest of the country. Shenzhen was really basically they were the experiment, the economic experiment, to see what would happen if they applied certain rules. And I guess they were happy with what happened in Shenzhen, so they allow it to happen everywhere else now. So yeah, Tesla's moving to China. The Americans don't seem to like Elon Musk as much as they don't like him all that much. It seems like. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Some Americans are trying so hard to screw Elon Musk. Some of them are trying so hard to kill his businesses. Harley's gone, Tesla's gone. That's right, Wesley.